Before I show you Sleepy Hollow, let me show you everything else we did before Sleepy Hollow. Happy Halloween! Before we show you our incredible experience in Sleepy Hollow, let me show you where we went first. We went to the Newport Mansions, the Breakers. Cornelius Vanderbilt II purchased the grounds in 1885 for $450,000, equivalent to $15.3 million today. The previous mansion was owned by Pierre Lorillard IV. It burned on November 25, 1892, and Vanderbilt insisted that the building could be rebuilt in its splendor. We were just in the music room and we asked what the little square piano is. I don't think it's a square piano. I might be wrong. I think it's either a harpsichord, was one of the square ones, or a clavichord. I think it's more of a clavichord because they have smaller areas and they were able to do dynamics, and I think that's what the pedals on the bottom were for, not for dynamics, but kind of gives away that you're able to do something with it. I think it's a clavichord, and then there is a Steinway grand piano next to it, and I think Chopin would be amazing for that room. The designers created an interior using marble imported from Italy and Africa, rare woods and mosaic from countries all around the world.
So in the library alcoves, not the portraits, but they're of Cornelius Vanderbilt, so the owners of the house, and Miss Gwynn, the mother of Miss Cornelius Vanderbilt too. In the archway are portraits of Cornelius Vanderbilt II. The decoration of the library was inspired by the 16th century French chimney piece, which came from the Château des Arnay de Le Duc in Burgundy. That fireplace is amazing.
Just 7 years later, after the estate was finished, Vanderbilt died of a cerebral hemorrhage caused by a stroke. He left the Breakers to his wife, who lived 35 more years after his death until she passed away in 1934. She left the property to her youngest daughter.
Luggage. She had Louis Vuitton back at the time. These trunks are worth a lot of money today. They're like, I don't know, like $40,000, $50,000 and up.
She, in 1948, leased the high-maintenance property to the Preservation Society of Newport County for $1 a year. And in 1972, the Society bought the Breakers and approximately 90% of its furnishings for $365,000, which is $2.66 million today. The Preservation Society of Newport County allowed the family to keep living on the third floor, which is not open to the public. The occupancy ended in 2018.
So this was designed by the premier American architect Richard Morris Hunt. The Breakers is the grandest of the Newport summer cottages. Cornelius II and Alice Vanderbilt's summer house was modeled on Italian Renaissance palaces with open-air courtyards, which we're going to see right now.
So this property was built probably somewhere around the 1800s, 1880 maybe. Built by Cornelius Vanderbilt. And fun fact, this guy was probably richer than the top three of the most richest people in the world right now. He was richer than all three of them combined. And you know, that's why he built this residence and probably 10 more. You know, you need a palace for when you need to take a poo. You need a palace when you're breathing incorrectly. You need a palace when you need to eat breakfast. And you need a palace when you have a squirrel in the bush back there. The Marble House was built as a summer cottage between 1888 and 1892 for Alva and William Kissam Vanderbilt. So if you don't know, this is Greek architecture right here at its prime. This is why they have the pillars. This is based off the Greek Corinthian style? I can't remember, Corinthian or Dorian? Sorry, Dorian, not Dorian. Doric. The mansion cost $11 million, equivalent to $373 million today. $7 million was spent on 500,000 cubic feet of marble.
So this house is based on Greek architecture. Here's another symbol or hint on why it's based. They have statues that basically represent Greek art. So this house, marble house, is Greek architecture. The interior is very European, I would say French mostly.
Very French. They actually were educated in France.
Poseidon. Maybe they like Poseidon. I'm apparently guessing, and whoever that is.
$7 million just to get the marble for the house. Not the total cost of the build, just the marble. I love the horse paintings. Look at all of those, the equestrian. This was her study. Yeah, I like the French architecture. I like the French stuff more. I like this one more than the other one.
Yeah, me too.
When Alva Vanderbilt divorced William in 1895, she already owned the marble house outright, having received it for her 39th birthday. Upon her remarriage in 1896 to Oliver Hazard Perry Belmont, she relocated down the street to Belmont's mansion, Belcourt. After his death, she reopened the marble house and added the Chinese tea house on the seaside cliff, which was modeled on 12th century Song Dynasty temples. She hosted rallies for women's suffrage at this tea house.
We booked the online Sleepy Hollow Cemetery tour with kerosene lanterns. We did it about a week in advance. I highly recommend if you're going to do it 2 to 3 weeks in advance or even a month in advance. It sells out pretty quickly. It is a very different experience taking it at nighttime versus doing it during the day. I recommend doing both if you want to see it because it's a lot easier to see the tombstones during the day, but the night experience was so very cool. You get a nice little history tour. You get a tour guide that shows you probably the most famous tombstones within Sleepy Hollow. So you'll get to see Rockefeller, Carnegie, and there's a few, Washington Irving, which is famous for Sleepy Hollow, the books. I recommend doing it early and then definitely come and check it out during the day because we're gonna look at it now and we're able to see everything in the light, which is nice too.
But first, I want to show you something that was truly beautiful and incredibly lucky to happen. Even our tour guide was super shocked.
Anyway, we'll pause for a second, thank you. No, please don't ever apologize for that. This is the coolest day of my life.
Interaction between the Earth's magnetic field and charged particles from the sun cause the northern lights. There are many different colors that you can get with the auroras, but in this case we got scarlet and green, which is caused by oxygen interacting with solar particles at very high altitudes. It's not very common in this part of the US to view auroras this clearly, and we were truly lucky to have stumbled upon them this very night. We decided to take the classic evening lantern tour. The 2-hour evening tour gives an overview of why Sleepy Hollow Cemetery is so famous. Tickets are about $50 per person and no refunds are available, unless there is severe weather. Make sure to book these tickets at least a month in advance because they get filled quick, especially during Halloween.
It's a good sound, right?
There are also more options for tours, like daytime options, murder mayhem, and the good, the bad, and the unusual.
So last night when we were walking the spooky tour, we were given kerosene lamps, obviously. You know, told the rules, don't slosh them around, don't put them up like this because no one, you ain't gonna see anything like this, even though it's cool. And she kind of like led us around and, you know, told us a history of a few famous people here, so like Rockefeller, and we got to see some other dude who put every single religion inside his tomb area, and then Carnegie and a few others. Anyways, we got lucky enough last night to see the Aurora Borealis, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The ones that we didn't get to see were Sweden, so that was quite nice. It was completely unexpected. So this could have been the bridge where the Headless Horseman rode over. Though, in my opinion, that bridge probably has fallen into the river already. This one is actually not original, it says in the map, sadly. But, you know, I don't think we want our heads cut off anytime soon.
Legends and lore. Headless Horseman tethers his horse nightly among graves in this churchyard according to the legend of Sleepy Hollow. Author Washington Irving.
The Old Dutch Church of Sleepy Hollow is the second oldest extant church and the 15th oldest extant building in the state of New York. The church was built around 1697. It continued to serve as the church of Phillips Manor through the Revolution, and after the Revolution ended, the family's land was confiscated for siding with the Crown. Washington Irving, whose Sunnyside estate was a few miles to the south, made the church famous when he gave it a prominent mention in his early 19th century Halloween short story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And there began the haunting tale of the Headless Horseman and Ichabod Crane.
Anyways, oh, it was so scary. The Headless Horseman was gonna come chop my head. No, it wasn't that scary. I mean, yes, it was a little bit eerie because the winds were blowing and acorns fell off the tree, but it wasn't that scary. Unlike him. Now, hold on. We had a group of people and we had a light. If it was just maybe us three and if we were entirely alone in the graveyard, then yes, it would probably be very scary. But otherwise, not that scary.
Thank you for watching our channel. And please subscribe, leave a comment below, and